What's up everyone and welcome back to the UFC News Hub. Today let's get started with Justin Gaethje is once again stepping into the fire, this time for UFC 313's co-main event where he'll face Rafael Fiziev in a rematch. This wasn't the original plan though. Gaethje was supposed to fight Dan Hooker, but when Hooker was forced to pull out due to injury, the UFC had to scramble for a replacement. Before we continue, don't forget to subscribe and click the bell icon so you never miss an update. In a surprising twist, they landed on Fiziev, the same man Gaethje narrowly beat in a fight of the night war at UFC 286. That fight was a brutal back and forth battle, with Gaethje coming out on top via majority decision. Now they're running it back, and opinions are all over the place about whether this was the right call. Some fans are excited because Gaethje and Fiziev delivered fireworks the first time around. It's a guaranteed action fight, and that's always a win for the fans. But others are questioning if this was the best option. With the lightweight division being so stacked, should the UFC have given the opportunity to a fresh contender instead of rebooking a rematch so soon? Names like Arman Tsarukyan, Charles Oliveira, Max Holloway, and Dustin Poirier were all thrown into the conversation, but according to Gaethje himself, none of them were willing to step up. Justin Gaethje said Arman and Charles understandably said no. Max and Dustin understandably said no. Moicano got the call and said no. Props to Fiziev for volunteering to fly across the world and take this fight. Big risk here for me taking this rematch against an elite striker. Life's a trip. Best live show on earth going down March 8th. That tweet from Gaethje says it all. This isn't just another fight, it's a high-risk rematch with a dangerous opponent who's already shared the cage with him. Rafael Fiziev instantly replied using pictures from their 2022 fight and said, "Perfect timing. Let's find out whose nose job is better." Gaethje knows Fiziev's power, speed, and creativity on the feet, and taking this fight on short notice doesn't leave a lot of time for adjustments. But that's what makes Gaethje who he is. He thrives in chaos. He's a fighter who embraces risk, someone who would rather take a dangerous fight than sit on the sidelines waiting for the perfect opportunity. This rematch is just one part of a week full of big fight announcements. At UFC 314, knockout artist Gene Silva will get his wish when he faces off against Bryce Mitchell in what promises to be a clash of styles. Silva's explosive striking versus Mitchell's relentless grappling. And at UFC Kansas City, the light heavyweight division gets some closure when Jamahal Hill and Khalil Roundtree Jr. finally settle their unfinished business in the main event. But all eyes are on UFC 313, where Gaethje vs Fiziev 2 could easily steal the show. Whether fans wanted this rematch or not, it's happening. And with Gaethje involved, you know it's going to be wild. This is the kind of fight where anything can happen, and with both men carrying knockout power and a refusal to back down, fans might just get another classic. March 8th can't come soon enough. Alexander Volkanovski has sent a strong warning to Islam Makhachev after stepping into the octagon with both Islam Makhachev and Ilia Topuria. Volkanovski knows exactly what it feels like to share the cage with both men, and that gives his opinion a lot of weight. With the news of Topuria planning to move up to the lightweight division at 155 pounds, Volkanovski believes that a fight between Topuria and Makhachev could be the biggest threat to Islam's reign as lightweight champion. During a virtual appearance on the Ariel Helwani show, Volkanovski didn't hold back when talking about Topuria's potential at 155 and the danger he brings to anyone standing across from him, including Islam Makhachev. Alexander Volkanovski said Ilia is a dangerous fighter and he can catch anyone. If he lands, he could definitely knock Islam out. That's a bold statement coming from someone who's fought both of them, and it makes sense. Ilia Topuria's striking is powerful, precise, and explosive. If you leave an opening, he's the kind of fighter who can end your night in a split second. Of course, Islam Makhachev is not just sitting back quietly either. He's made it clear that he's interested in moving up to welterweight to chase a second title, just like Ariel Helwani himself predicted long before any official talks started. Volkanovski also touched on the situation surrounding the welterweight title picture. He believes everything could change depending on the outcome of UFC 315, where Jack Della Maddalena is set to fight Bilal Muhammad. If JDM pulls off the win, Volkanovski is convinced Islam will waste no time moving up to welterweight to pursue champ status. Alexander Volkanovski said, "You've got the Bilal situation. If Jack Della Maddalena wins that fight, Islam's moving up. Let's be real. Islam is moving up straight away. That's what they're waiting for." It's a fascinating situation with so many moving parts, and it's clear that the lightweight division is about to get very chaotic. Ilia Topuria has already made it known that he has no interest in climbing the ranks at at lightweight like a traditional contender. He wants the big fights right away, and with his star power and undefeated record, he might just get his wish. For now, everything hinges on what happens at UFC 315, which is scheduled to go down on May 10th. If JDM wins, expect Islam to chase gold at 170. If Belal holds onto his spot, Islam might stick around at lightweight a little longer, possibly setting the stage for an epic clash between him and Ilia Topuria. No matter which way this plays out, the next few months could reshape both the lightweight and welterweight divisions in a massive way. Sean Strickland gets called out. Sean Strickland might be recovering from a potential broken nose after his intense title fight with Dricus du Plessis, but it looks like there's already someone waiting to step up and fight him when he's ready to return. During a recent appearance on the On Paper podcast with Anthony Smith, former middleweight champion Robert Whittaker openly threw his name into the mix. Whittaker didn't just suggest the fight, he seemed genuinely excited by the challenge of facing Strickland's awkward and unorthodox style. It's clear Whittaker sees Strickland as a puzzle he wants to figure out inside the octagon. Robert Whittaker said, "I think Strickland makes a good argument to have. I feel like we've both been in that top sort of pond for a while, circling each other. For whatever reason, we haven't been matched up, but we've both been in proximity for a while. Most likely, it's the fight to make. I'm excited about that fight. I look at his style, and I find it curious. I find it exciting to try and work out. He's a tough dude. I want to come back this year in June. It gives me a good amount of time to just continue doing what I'm doing, but also ease into a camp properly and come in as my best self," said Robert Whittaker. Now, if you've been paying attention to some of the trash talk leading up to UFC 312, you might be wondering, was this call out from Whittaker really just about competition and respect? Or could there be a bit of payback behind it? After all, Strickland didn't hold back when talking about Whittaker in the lead up to that event. Strickland flat out called Whittaker a can and said he looked completely flat during his fight against Khamzat Chimaev. Knowing Whittaker's reputation for being a respectful, humble guy, he'd never admit that Strickland's comments got under his skin, but you have to wonder if it added a little extra fuel to this challenge. But Strickland isn't the only name on Whittaker's radar. Right after his latest win over Gregory Rodriguez at the UFC Apex, Jared Cannonier also threw his name in the hat, calling for a rematch with Whittaker. So, depending on how long Strickland needs to heal up and get back to full form, there's a real chance Whittaker could end up staying busy with someone else in the meantime. And if Whittaker sticks to his plan of returning in June, that timeline could work out perfectly for either fight. One thing's for sure, Robert Whittaker wants to fight again soon, and whether it's Sean Strickland, Jared Cannonier, or someone else, the Reaper is coming back. Fans will definitely want to keep a close eye on this situation because it could turn into one of the most intriguing matchups in the middleweight division. Will it be the unpredictable brawler in Strickland, the rematch with the powerhouse Cannonier, or maybe something entirely unexpected? Either way, Whittaker is ready, and knowing his fighting style and attitude, you can bet that whoever steps in front of him is going to get all the smoke. Footage surfaced of Arman Tsarukyan wrestling on TikTok. Here's the clip.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this,